So what is up, everyone? Today I will show you how I get use out of this service drive which I created in the last series. So yeah, this will show you the usage of this type of a device, and yeah, you will see why it really is important, and it's an awesome piece of kit. So stay tuned. So if you have watched my last video, or one of my last video, I showed you how I installed Mac OS 9.2.2 on this G4 Cube. So that leaves me with one problem. I had to erase the SSD which was in there to get the system 9.2.2 up and running. And now I have the problem that I can't repartitionate this hard drive because of the active system on there. So my main goal of today is to get this G4 repartitionated with two partitions, having Mac OS 9.2.2 version on one partition and the Mac OS 10.4 Tiger on the other partition. Those are the two systems that I want to have on here, and I will show you how I will get this very simply with my service drive and my iMac G4. So let's join me on this ride. So the first and most important step is that you have to understand the target disk mode. I have already explained this a couple of times, but I will explain it once again because it is essential for this process. Target disk mode is an Apple specific mode in which you can set an entire PC in, and it is used to connect one PC to another, and the one PC will see the other PC just as an hard drive. So you can manipulate those PC hard drives without taking them out, which is quite an awesome thing, just over another PC. So what you have to do is you have to take a FireWire cable. This is something which really just works with FireWire, and it is essential. By the way, guys, this is a problem that I have with my G3 clamshell Indigo iBook, because that doesn't have a FireWire port, and therefore I will have to put another hard drive in with already the right systems on there. That will be a project for the future, which I will have to do, and I will do it. Yeah, so it works with both FireWire standards, FireWire 400 to 400, FireWire 800 to 800, and FireWire 400 to 800, FireWire 800 to FireWire 400. So in this configuration here, I have on here FireWire 400, and over on the other side on my iMac G4 I have FireWire 400 as well, so my translation speed will be my transfer speeds will be FireWire 400. So I have already connected them over the FireWire cable, and now you have to know which hard drive you want to manipulate with which PC. So if I wanted to manipulate the hard drive of the iMac G4, I would have to set the iMac G4 into target disk mode. If I want to manipulate the hard drive of the G4 Cube, I will have to set the G4 Cube in target disk mode. So in this example, I will have to set the cube, the G4 Cube, into target disk mode so that I can manipulate it over with the iMac G4, which is connected to my Servicedrive over there. So let's show you how you set target disk mode on the G4 Cube. Okay, so it's now really important that you understand what you have to do. You have to have your keyboard plugged in, you have to have your monitor plugged in, and you have to have your FireWire cable plugged in. So what you will have to do is you have to restart the system, and while restarting it you have to press the letter T for target disk mode on your keyboard, and you have to have this locked. So you really have to press it a while, and you will see a positive feedback on your monitor when you are in target disk mode. So you will have to press it until that process. So I will have to plug in my power supply for the G4 Cube, and then I have to plug it back in, and now I have to, it now starts, and I have to press the letter T now, which I am doing right now, and now I have to wait. So, and there you go. So you really have to press it a while until you are in target disk mode. So, target disk mode looks like that. You have the FireWire symbol dancing around on the screen, and now it is set into target disk mode. So the next step that I have to do is I have to plug out my keyboard, because I will have to use that on my G4 iMac G4 now. So I will plug it in right over here. There we go. And now I just have to boot up this G4 iMac. Yeah guys, I really do like those bongs. It's still an amazing thing for me. Okay, and we are up and running. So the first thing that we can see is up here we have the G4 Cube SSD, which is named macOS 9.2.2, and it has the FireWire symbol. So the target disk mode has worked. I will now switch lenses. Oh no, the first thing that I will do now, which is quite important, is fire the dock on the hard drive. So now we should see all of the drives that are the partitions that are on there, and we have them: macOS Tiger, macOS Panther, macOS 9.2.2 Classic, Leopard, and the system files. So now I will switch lenses, and then I will go through you. I will show you all of the necessary steps to get those systems over. Okay guys, now you should have quite a bit of a better angle to have a look at everything that is happening right here on my screen. So let's sum this stuff up that we can see right over here. So the first thing is the FireWire hard drive, which is the G4 Cube's internal system. Then we have macOS Tiger, Panther, 9.2.2 Classic, and Leopard. So what you have to do now is you have to go into Disk Utility. You do that while going into the Finder, then onto your Programs, and there you have your utility programs, and in there you will find Disk Utility. If you have a German system, it is called Festplattendienstprogramm. So you open that. So in here you will find every drive that you have available on the system. So we have our internal drive, which is the iMac G4 drive. Then we have the FireWire drive, which has 119.2 gigabytes. And then we have the external hard drive, which has 150 gigabytes. And down here we have the DVD drive. So what we want to do in here is we want to partitionate it. And we want two partitions on here. And the one partition we want to call G4 Cube Tiger. Let's make it about 80 gigabytes. It should be macOS Extended Journaled. And the other drive, we will call it G4 Cube .2.2 Classic. So now we have to do that, and by doing that it will delete everything that is on the hard drive yet. So you really have to make a backup if there are files that you will need. But I don't, so let's partitionate it. So we are finished, and now if we have a look in here, we can see our FireWire in target disk mode drive has two partitions, one called G4 Cube Tiger and one is called G4 Cube 9.2.2 Classic. So that should be it in disk utility. Now we will come to the part where the external hard drive will come in handy with all of our systems on it. So you have to have one program which is called Carbon Copy Cloner, and that is quite essential for this process. So you double click that. It opens up, and then it asks for the source. The source is the system that should be copied. So I will start with my Tiger system on the Servicedrive. So yes, so it that is the macOS Tiger partition. I select that as a source, and then as a destination I will select the G4 Cube Tiger partition, which is on my G4 Cube. And then I will go over here and press clone. You will have to put in your password, and it will take a bit of time. So we are done. This task was completed successfully in 1 hour and 11 minutes, and 5.46 gigabytes worth of data were copied. So the next thing is to select a different source, which should be macOS 9.2.2 Classic, and the new destination, which should be the G4 Cube 9.2.2 Classic. And let's clone that as well. That's quite interesting, guys. That process was a lot faster. It just took 1.5 minutes to copy 250 megabytes worth of data. So now we are finished with everything, copying over of all of the files. So now let's have a look if the concept worked out, and yeah, if we actually have two usable and bootable drives in partitions in my G4 Cube. So let's find out. So I now have powered down the iMac G4 and we are now at my G4 Cube, which still is in target disk mode. So let's power that down. Give the power back. And let's have a look on which kind of a system we will start. Should be quite interesting. So it seems to start in Tiger. By the way, guys, if you start those systems for the first time, they will need a bit of time to configure and to find out which kind of opponents are used in the system. So the boot up times will go faster if you boot them up a little more often. So, and there we go. We are in the G4 Cube Tiger partition, and it also shows the G4 Cube 9.2.2 Classics. So let's look at about this Mac. We are in macOS 10 version 10.4.11, which is the last iteration of Tiger. We have the 450 MHz PowerPC G4 Cube, and 1.5 GB of SD RAM, which is what we wanted to see. So everything fine on that front. So if you want to change systems, so if you want to go into macOS 9.2.2, you have to restart the system and hold down the Option key, which is what I will do now. So press restart and hold down the Option key. Okay, it doesn't allow it, which is interesting. Maybe we will have to go over the Classic. That should be the way to go. And you see already this system boots a lot faster, which is nice. So you go into your system files, and there we have it, the classic menu. And it now searches for it, and it has found it. And now we can start classic. And now it should start up classic fine. Do a restart and hope that everything will be fine. Ja.
Hier ist noch Bronchialsaft. Ups.
Alles klar, danke. Oh oh. Oh shit. Das Ding haut Dinge raus ohne Ende. So guys, as you see, I was quite successful. The way to change systems is that you go into your system files, and then you can choose which system you would like as a start volume. And then I just choose the OS 9.2, and now I am in Mac OS 9.2.2 Classic. So if I go into control panels, I can go down here, and there is startup disk, and now I can select OS 10.4.11, which is set around here. So here I can see on this I have macOS 9.2.2, and here I have macOS 10.4.11, and then I click on restart. And ta-da! We start up in Mac OS 10.4.11 Tiger. So guys, that should be it for this video. I now successfully used my Servicedrive to put 2 new systems onto my G4 Cube. So everything that I wanted to do with this drive does work. So I am really quite happy, and I will enjoy this kind of Servicedrive quite often, because you can see I have a lot of different Macs and I switch around systems quite oftenly. So this is awesome. So thank you very much for watching, and have a good one. Goodbye.